Consultancy firm Bain and Company has presented evidence at the ongoing Nugent Commission of Inquiry into the South African Revenue Service. Managing partner Vittorio Mazzone has defended the operating model the company developed for SARS. Mazzone blames SARS leadership for the problems at the Revenue Service. eNCA's John Bailey was there and he joins us now. John, Bain finally getting to have its say, and guess what? It too is not to blame for what happened, for that chaotic operating model that it introduced.
Well, it was clear that Bain came to the Commission today trying to rectify and to put the record straight, as they put it previously. But what the Commission unpacked today was clear that this contract that was awarded to Bain, it was highly irregular. In fact, when Bain got when they won the tender, they got it. The cost was something just over 3 million rand, but that cost eventually escalated to 164 million rand. So now, of course, SARS and Treasury will have to answer to how did this happen, because as we understand it, also when Bain won, when they won the bid, they said that they will give SARS a 50% discount almost, and that put them first ahead of the second bidder. Of course, it's not clear how what led to Bain giving this 50% discount. They said it's something that they do for most of the new clients, and they were interested to getting into the public space, and so it was what is of concern though for the Nugent Commission is to how did this escalate from a cost of just around about 2 million rand to 164 million rand. So we hope that we'll hear from SARS and from Treasury to explain this, because what SARS did, that this tender didn't go out once Bain got the tender. They kept on renewing it, and they didn't. It seems as though they didn't inform Treasury of this. So the issue is of course, why did they not declare this deviation from the original contract?
And the apparent irregularity of that tender isn't the only problem, because from what the Commission had today from Bain, Tom Moyane, who at the time had only been in the job for 4 months, never even gave a clear reason as to why SARS needed to restructure its working operating model in the first place.
That was the other fascinating issue that came out here for you. The fact that Moyane basically they issued this proposal, or sent out this offer for proposals to be submitted without any clear indication as to why they want to change this model. And you would recall that SARS received a lot of international praise for the way it's conducting itself, the fact that it had this very clear enforcement unit as well, and they did very well in the way that they operated with the model. And it was clear as well that Bain didn't understand the philosophy of SARS and where South Africa was coming from, the history of the country in terms of how SARS was compiled or set up. In fact, what Bain said is that they looked at models in New Zealand and in Australia, and it seems America as well, and they used that as best practice to compile this controversial model of theirs. So in fact, what the judge then said is like, but why did you change this model? Why? What guidance did you get from the commissioner? And he just said the commissioner, Tom Moyane, basically didn't give them a clear indication as to why this had to change. All they knew was that they had to change this, and Bain admitted that they didn't question the advice, or rather the instructions that were given to them. What was of concern to the Commission as well was the fact that Bain didn't consult. I need to take a step back. Bain was given 33 people at SARS, officials at SARS. that they had to interview, and the list of these 33 people came from Tom Moyane. Bain didn't question why only these 33 people, and also they didn't bother to interview any of the former commissioners or any of the heads of departments at SARS. And as you might recall, many of the officials, the senior officials who testified last week, said that they were not consulted. In fact, also those who were consulted by Bain, their affidavits stated that the quality of the interviews that were conducted with them was very poor. In fact, some of these senior officials who were interviewed, the interview lasted as long as 12 minutes. So how Bain got to this result is, or to this model, is very questionable.
And if Vittorio Massoni, Bain's managing partner here in South Africa, is to be believed, their model actually introduced efficiencies at SARS. What were his thoughts on why everybody else who came before him said the model wreaked havoc at SARS?
Well, he did say when he started his testimony this morning that he was shocked by what he read about these affidavits and testimonies that were given by the 20+ senior officials who testified so far. He said that there are many lessons to be learned from this exercise that they went through, and in hindsight, they should have questioned more about why they were given this brief. And in fact, at one point, he said that he can also understand why it does seem as though they were used by certain people or by the leadership at SARS to conduct these interviews, but also to design this model. For which, of course, the commissioner wanted to know about what does he mean by that they were used. He said that they are concerned about the image, about their image, and also the quality of work that it seems that they've delivered at SARS.
Okay, let's leave it there. John Bailey, who was, of course, at that SARS Commission of Inquiry. Startling revelations there. One wonders, though, whether it would have been possible for Bain to actually ask questions if your tender goes from 2 million to 164 million.